As I write to you now, I am sat in a churchyard in Oxfordshire. People are slowly trickling from the church after Sunday service. I can hear the exhaust vent from a pub kitchen and sparrows flitting high above me. Clouds make a polka dot pattern in the sky, and the sunshine comes and goes. I'm in the Cotswolds, the heartland of England, the quintessential English landscape. The rope on the church's flagpole rhythmically slaps in the breeze, and the wood pigeons keep cooing. I pack up my camera. I'm heading to Blenheim Palace. It is just afternoon when I get there. The sun has been scorching, and whole families are wilting as they meander around the lawns. I get a shot of the Victory pillar before I leave the car park. If I had a snazzier car, I may have put it in the shot. I find a spot between the house and the lake, which will let me survey both. It should be a good vantage point for some angled views of the house. A group of Geordie pensioners stroll by, proclaiming the house's beauty. I am trying to remember if the landscape was actually by Capability Brown. New shots reveal themselves in every direction I look. I have placed my tripod on a manhole cover. Water is flowing deep beneath me. A Japanese family shares my documentation vantage point. Their lenses point in all directions, as though they are taking a 360-degree snapshot to be saved in their shared genial cloud. I receive a text from a friend. I pack up my gear and head up the drive, remembering I had only looked at my phone for the time, and I hadn't noted it. I get my straight up and down the drive shots, but standing on the driveway finishes me off. The reflected heat from the tarmac causes me to wilt, and I head for the tea room. The soundscape of a heritage site tea room is one of my favourite. Invariably, these glorified canteens are in the stable block of any manor house I visit. Their bare stone interiors reverberate with the murmur of conversation and light clatter of crockery. These cool interiors are a rest from the heat and overwhelming cultural barrage hopefully experienced on your visit. My bewilderment causes me to part with £9.70 for a can of Sem Pellegrino, an egg and cress sandwich, and a slice of chocolate and almond cake. I sit down to eat, and I turn on my sound recorder. People don't usually want to be filmed while they eat. I got sucked into the architecture of the great courtyard. There was a girl measuring the bases of the columns. I almost spoke to her. I was trying hard to document the place well, composing shots which would balance all the aspects which were informing my aesthetic experience, trying to work with the frame of my lens and not against it. The water terraces seemed like an oasis after the baking desert of the courtyard. Compared to the direct, and heavy-handed use of the marble and sandstone sculptures of the yard. Their aims, bold and clear statements of power and victory. The dark green bronzes in this garden were like subtle poetry whispered in your ear. My camera's battery dies whilst I'm attempting to get close-ups of the water falling through the air. I head back to the entrance of the house. It was 4:48, and last entry was at 4:45. I came back the next day after signing up for an annual pass. I captured more audio from the courtyard and walked up the steps to the entrance. I had last visited about 11 years ago. I think back then there was a no photography policy. Now they even allow filming, as long as it's for amateur purposes. I was awkward and nervous about filming indoors. Everyone felt obligated to wait for me to take my shot before they walked by. I soon got better at timing my shots to avoid these interactions. I was moving at such a slow pace that tours kept enveloping me and overtaking me on the prescribed route around the house. One tour, led by a rather pompous guide, was incredibly excruciating to listen to. The tour was populated by a school party from Spain. I cringed when the guide asked whether their English was any good. Winston Churchill grew up and lived here. There was an exhibition about him in one of the reception rooms, very stuffy and overcrowded. I began to be overwhelmed by the grandeur and sheer amount of stuff. I passed through stateroom after stateroom after stateroom. The same looks from the stewards in each. Curiosity and suspicion about me and where I was pointing my camera. It felt somewhat as though I was committing a social faux pas and being a young man visiting a place like this on my own. I should be at work, or at least be chaperoned by a girlfriend, or here at the bequest of elderly parents. I feel as though I am an exhibit which has come to life, and the museum guards don't know what to do with me. There is a fabulous sculpture in the chapel, but I don't feel like filming it. I'm at the end of the route through the interior, and am exited at the Great Court again. A load of jags have shown up. Across the lawn, they are constructing some kind of showground for one of their live events. This garden is private.